Hey guys, it's Mrs. Lamphere. This is the instructional video for Unit 2, Sections 1 and 2 of Accounting. I would strongly suggest that you open up your study guide and follow along with this and kind of fill it out as we go. And then you can use that to help you with the quizzes and exams, and you'll be oh. So let's get started. Okay. So this is what we're going to cover in today's video. What is accounting? What does it even mean? How does it work? All different information about accounting, because most of you, this is probably your first experience ever with either a business class or accounting altogether. We're going to talk about the different types of accounting systems that are available. Then we're going to talk about career goals and accounting as a career. So buckle up, let's go. All right. So as far as accounting goes, financial transactions take place every day. So in your home, whenever your parents purchase household goods, and when they pay bills, pay rent, there's always financial transactions going on, meaning money coming in, money going out, so on and so forth. So you need to balance your income versus your expenses in order to make sure that you're not spending more than the money that you have bringing in, because that would put us at a deficit, which means bad news if we're spending more than we have money coming in. So that's why we keep records, or at home you might have a budget in place with your family to really track and see where all your money is coming and going. So that's kind of how accounting works. So in small businesses, there are hundreds of transactions that take place every day, and in large corporations, there are thousands of transactions that take place every day. So it's really important, even for businesses, to again track that money coming in and going out to make sure that everything's in place and they're not spending too much somewhere, or spending more money than again that they're bringing in. And of course, the main objective for any business is to make a profit. And you will find that I've underlined that. So check out your study guide, because stuff that I've underlined in the slides means that it's on your study guide. Just a heads up. Okay, so the main objective for any business is to make a profit. Even if it's a non-profit organization, you still have employees that you need to pay. So you still need to be bringing in some money in order to keep that business running. So businesses use accounting systems. They record all financial transactions to determine whether that business is making a profit or losing money. And so by tracking that information, they can decide, what do we need to change in order to make more profit or to keep from losing money. They can use the information they gather while they're accounting to determine those things. Okay, so then what is accounting? The textbook definition is accounting is the art of recording, classifying, summarizing financial transactions to make or present a financial report. So basically, you're recording all the financial transactions that go on in the business so that you can generate different reports to show where your money's going, how it's fluctuating, what areas are doing well financially, what areas might be struggling financially, and so on. So with accountancy, again, this is just a fancy word for accounting, you're creating accurate financial reports, your bookkeeping, and bookkeeping is kind of a synonym for accounting, where you're recording and maintaining day-to-day business transactions. And then the kind of the modern accounting system that, so the businesses have been bookkeeping since the very start of a business. And kind of the more modern accounting bookkeeping form is this double entry bookkeeping system. So with the double entry system, there are at least 2 entries for every transaction. Double entry, 2 entries. So anytime, we're going to talk more about debits and credits, but anytime there's a debit that you log in your transactions, there's also going to be a corresponding credit in a different account. So whatever account, so say a business buys more office supplies. So that means their cash fund is going to decrease because you're putting that money towards office supplies, but then the value of your office supplies is going to increase. And so we subtract it from one account and add it to another account, and that keeps it always balanced. And so like this says, the sum of all debits should always equal the sum of all credits. So when we're crediting one account, we're debiting another account so that the amounts are always equal. And that might be whoosh over your head right now, but I promise it'll make more sense later on. Oops, let's go back one. And so by doing this double entry system, it just provides an easier way to check for errors when you are doing the bookkeeping for a business. Okay, so the double entry system is kind of the general, again, modern type of accounting. And then there's also different types of accounting systems that we use for different reasons. There is financial accounting. Financial information is recorded, classified, summarized, interpreted, and communicated to interested parties. So when there's financial accounting going on, that it helps determine the net income and financial position of a business. So financial accounting kind of just shows the overall finances of a business so that outsiders can look at that information. So outsiders, we're talking stockholders, business owners, so they can just take a glance at that information and see how the business is doing. Whereas management accounting provides necessary information to help management make managerial and operational decisions. So management accounting is more, again, used by managers, where they look at the information and then that helps them determine purchasing, hiring of employees, do they have the money for it, what do they have money for, so on and so forth. And then there's cost accounting. And cost accounting helps ascertain and analyze the cost of a product. This helps management to take steps to control the cost. So when you're performing cost accounting, it helps the business to kind of see the cost of their product. So whatever it is they're producing, they can check out their cost accounting and figure out, all right, what's the most efficient way of producing this product to that we're getting the quality we want, but saving the most money out of it. Okay, then there are a couple different methods for maintaining those accounting systems or tracking. So we have talked about those different accounting systems. So how do we track the money that's going in and out of those different systems? Well, there's manual accounting, and manual kind of means pen and paper, where you are manually, so by hand, keeping and maintaining the various accounting books. And that's what we are going to be doing in this class. We're going to be doing lots of manual accounting. And you might ask me why in a second, because then there's also computerized accounting. So there's software out there that does this for you. Businesses, a lot of businesses, that, especially small businesses, use like QuickBooks is a really popular one. And this is a software that records and prepares and maintains all your accounting information in a computer using different software. So you're thinking, well, if there's already software for this, why do I need to learn how to manually do this? Well, it's because you still need to learn the whole process of accounting. You can't just plug numbers in the computer and not really understand where they're going, because you need to be able to explain the information that you're presenting. So if you're the accountant at a company, you need to be able to explain what it is you're looking at to the higher-ups of the business. So that's why we're going to do a lot of this manually in order to really understand the process of accounting. And with computerized accounting, it's a lot faster to generate financial reports. They're usually more reliable and less mistakes. But again, it's still important for us to understand the manual process of accounting. Okay, and then hopefully after this course you might be considering accounting as a career. So let's talk about setting different career goals. And of course, accounting's not for everybody, but maybe after you take this class, you might think you're actually interested in this and it might be a strength of yours and something you want to continue to pursue. So when we're thinking about career goals, these are some of the questions you need to be asking yourself to even really decide what area you want to go into. So again, what are my strengths? What career suggestions do others give me? You know, if you might have come across someone that's like, wow, you're really good at this. You should become this profession. Like if maybe you baked a cake and it was phenomenal and everyone's like, wow, you should become a baker or a chef. and you're like, that's a great idea. A lot of times we don't think about ourselves in that way, but suggestions from others can really kind of turn on that light bulb that says, you know what, I am good at this and I do enjoy this. Maybe it would be a good career. What do I enjoy doing? What are my interests? What energizes me? Those are all things you need to consider when you're thinking about what career you want to enter into. So why then should you have a career goal? Career goals really help you to focus on what it is you want to do for a living. So if you're just kind of wandering around and you're not even thinking about it, you might be missing out on a lot of opportunities that could help you get into the career that you want to get into. It can also narrow down your interests into a career field or a specific job. So once you start asking yourself these questions, it can really start to help you focus in on what area you might want to do, or it might even help you narrow even further to like a specific job that you would enjoy. Okay, tips for accomplishing your career goal, and you'll notice this is underlined. So tips for accomplishing your career goal: you should always analyze your skills and capabilities. What are you good at? What are your professional strengths? That's analyzing your skills. Set realistic goals. Create a plan that will give you a competitive edge. So what's going to kind of separate you from the competition? There's thousands of people applying for jobs every day. What are some goals that you can make for yourself that will kind of give you that edge above the competition? Use marketing techniques. How are you going to get yourself noticed? How are you going to make yourself stand out? How can you market yourself as a professional? Those are something to think about. Find long-term support. Who's going to hold you accountable? When you start slacking off, you need someone that says, hey, kick it into gear. You need to stay focused here. And it's really important to have someone like that in your life. And personalize your approach. You need to develop a plan that fits you. You can't just let someone else, say, well, you need to do this and this and this. You need to do those things, but in your own way, so that you're developing a career path that's right for you, and not just going into marine biology because that's what your friend's doing. Okay, so when we're looking more at accounting as a career, there are some prerequisites in place, which means there are some things you need to have in place before you can become an accountant. One is a bachelor's degree, either in accounting or a related field. So a lot of times, even if you're just like, maybe you majored in business and you took several accounting classes to get there, that can often lead you to a career in accounting if that's where you want to go. It's really important to give yourself an advantage. You guys probably are aware, as many of you, I've heard from a lot of you say that you're trying to find jobs and it's really hard right now. So is it when you go to find a career. But the important thing is to kind of give yourself an edge, give yourself an advantage. By kind of furthering your education, the more education you have, the more edge you're going to have over your competition. So even by obtaining certification, getting your CPA to become a certified public accountant, that's just kind of like an extra test that you have to take once you have your bachelor's degree. You could go on to get your master's degree. You could become proficient in some accounting software. All of those kind of extra things that you do will give you the advantage over others that are also looking for accounting jobs. Okay, so you might be thinking, all right, what does an accountant even do? We talked about kind of the process of accounting, so here's what an accountant does. It ensures firms are run efficiently. So this is accountants and auditors. They're kind of very similar. We'll talk more specifically about auditors in a little bit. So accountants and auditors ensure firms are run efficiently and that their public records are kept accurately, and that taxes are paid properly and on time. So basically, accountants and auditors are really focusing on the financial side of a business to make sure, when we mention running efficiently, is there some areas where money is being wasted? Is there some areas that need more money to support that area? That's kind of what the accountant comes in and really looks at to give the business then suggestions on how to better run themselves more efficiently. Okay, some more specific accounting careers: you could become a public accountant. So public accountant does accounting, auditing, looks at your taxes, consulting, so again, kind of gives you suggestions on maybe how to more efficiently run the company. Some focus on tax matters, so some get really specific in a certain area, and so you could focus on taxes and advise the company of tax advantages or disadvantages that they could claim when they're doing their taxes. Advice on employee compensation and benefits, so that'd be like how much can your company afford to pay employees. A public accountant can come in and help you kind of determine all of that. An internal auditor, on the other hand, helps to verify the accuracy of the organization's records. So they kind of come in and make sure that everything is accurate in their records. They kind of double check everything to make sure that there's no fraud or misinformation. They check for mismanagement, waste, or fraud, like I just said, and evaluate the firm's financial and information systems. So they kind of just oversee everything to make sure that everything's running most efficiently. And if not, they'll kind of, again, give you suggestions or, and kind of just make sure that legally everything is being recorded correctly and so on. Oops. There we go. Okay. And so accounting as a career would be a great career to look into. If this class even interests you in the least, accounting is a wonderful career. I took several accounting classes in college, and I had several friends go on to become, they took the test after college and got their CPA, and they made very, very good money like right after college. Increasing economy equals increase in more accountants and auditors. So there's always new businesses being formed. There's increasing competition between international companies. So America's going to want, the best and the brightest and the most efficient accountants that they can find. And there's just going to always be a demand in this job field. And internships are a great way to gain experience. So as you're going through high school and college, there's lots of internships out there available that you could become like a junior accountant and really observe and help professionals in their industry and really kind of learn the ropes of the business. Okay, so that's section 1 and 2. I'm going to stop there for this video and then pick up in the next video on section 3.